Good morning, class. Today we are talking about Geoffrey Chaucer and the Canterbury Tales. We are in England, London, in the Middle Ages. Chaucer is considered the father of English literature for some reasons. Let's see some of them. First of all, he was a Londoner, born into a wealthy family in 1340. His father was a businessman, a wine merchant, and part of the middle class. So as a consequence, young Chaucer was educated, he was cultivated, and he learned. He was sent to France and Italy, where he read the works of Boccaccio, Dante, and Petrarca. In particular, he was sent on diplomatic missions all over Europe, and this gave him the opportunity to see and to observe any kind of people belonging to any social class, and to describe them in a very specific and detailed way in his work of art, the Canterbury Tales. We are going on to a pilgrimage with Geoffrey Chaucer to Canterbury Cathedral. He wrote his masterpiece, the Canterbury Tales, in the last years of his life. He died in 1400 and was buried in Westminster Abbey in the Poets' Corner. If you go to London and into Westminster, you will see this inscription with his name and the date of his death. But what are the Canterbury Tales? There are some oddities, some strange things to know about it. First of all, it's an unfinished narrative poem written between 1387 and the date of his death, we presume. And it is the first published book of poetry written in English language, especially written in Middle English. And that's very important to say and to focus on, because it was a sort of cultural operation. That is, English was considered a vehicle to express high literary contents, and made poetry available to everybody, not only the literate classes. But what is a narrative poem? It's a sort of storytelling, probably the oldest form of storytelling. And, of course, it's in verse, being poetry and not prose. The Canterbury Tales is written in rhyming couplets of iambic pentameters. What is an iambic pentameter? It's a line made of 10 syllables with a pattern of unstressed and stressed syllables. We're going to watch a video together that tells you and explains a little bit better this what an iambic pentameter is.
What's going down? I am the pentameter. Don't you frown, cuz it's been around since you and me could speak. Just listen to it sound. It sounds just like a heartbeat.
Okay, he says it sounds like your heartbeat. To-do, 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 to-do. So there is a sort of alternation between stressed and unstressed syllables.
You know what a sonnet is, that I won't repeat. You take a line of a verse and divide by 5 feet.
So you take a line of a verse and you divide it into 5 feet, as you can see he wrote on the blackboard.
Then you take the foot and stop the words at the construct.
And then you can see the alternation between unstressed and stressed. So long, it means that the stress is on the word long and not on the word so.
As the stress syllables deep and shallow, then you take it all and put it into a rhyme. I know it sounds hard, it just takes a little time. And when you write your own, it becomes quite clear. The best rapper alive is who? Shakespeare!
He's mentioning William Shakespeare because he wrote in iambic pentameters like Romeo and Juliet, tragedies and the comedies as well. But Chaucer was the first one who used the iambic pentameter.
If you think I'm playing, then you better play the radio. This is not a joke, yo, it's something you should know. Any hip-hop song climbing up the pop charts, iambic pentameter is where it had its start. You know why? Of course it works better to memorize lines.
So why iambic pentameter? Because it's better and it's easier to memorize it, since the rhythm and the melody is da-dum, 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 and it's always the same, and it repeats always the same. It's very easy to memorize it.
When you're on stage, in the middle of the play, nothing brings you more rage than forgetting what to say. So next time you hear about a boring Shakespeare, you know the truth, you yell, lend him an ear, dude, 'cause hearing this language is kinda cool. Let me show you the way, and you'll learn so soon. Without the masters, the rappers, and hip-hop MCs, we'd have never ever heard to be or not to be.
So I hope it worked a little bit to understand this iambic pentameter a little bit better. Let's go on and see what and where our steps lead to. They lead to the tales themselves. The tales are about 30 characters that are going on to a pilgrimage to Canterbury Cathedral, where there is the shrine of St. Thomas Becket, and they're going there, and 30 people are involved. Chaucer is included, so he's part of the pilgrimage himself. The characters meet at the Tabard Inn in London. An inn is a sort of pub. Like, that's the picture of a modern pub in London, and this should look like more or less the same. What do these people do? They tell 2 stories each, one going to Canterbury and the other coming back from London. At the end of this journey, they choose the best storyteller that will win a free dinner in the Tabard Inn. So it was a sort of it was a way to spend the time in a happier way. There are some oddities that we have to remember about Geoffrey Chaucer, and the first one is that he wrote some idioms and way of saying that we are still using today, like, for example, time and tide wait for no man, or what is better than wisdom? Woman. And what is better than a good woman? Nothing. Or love is blind. And last but not least, truth is the highest thing that man may keep. That's all for today. We'll go deeper into Geoffrey Chaucer and the Canterbury Tales in the next lesson. Bye-bye.